Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the HPC. This is their part number C45. This is a code card for their Blitz machine. And the Blitz machine is probably a staple in every lock shop. And probably those outfits, not unlike ourselves, that aren't really lock shops, but they do some work that would be considered locksmithing work. A Blitz machine or the HPC, X and Y axis machine does allow you to originate keys by code, and they have a unique system where you use a card to tell you where to set your spacing and your depth. The Fromen machine operates kind of the same way, but you're working from depth and spacing charts. So if you know that the root depth is this dimension and you know that the spacing is this dimension, or the cut, you simply set the machine to that and then you pull, and there's your first cut. Set your spacing, go to your next spacing, go to your next depth, there's your cut. HPC, while the Fromen machine isn't difficult to use, you're going to be thinking in thousandths of an inch. HPC, you are thinking in thousandths of an inch, you just don't realize you are, because they've got these, cheats that are here. And that's the beauty of the system. They take the epic thinking out of it. The one downside, I might argue, with the HPC compared to the Fromen is that when I'm turning my depth knob, where I stop my needle is where I stop my needle. And if I'm spot on, on this cut, and then this cut, and then this cut, and I duplicate that, if I try to originate the key twice, those cuts, if I put a caliper on, are not going to be identical. So when I use the Blitz machine, I would originate a key, I would check it to make sure I'm satisfied. Then I would use my semi-automatic duplicator to duplicate keys from there. A Fromen machine is going to give you that repeatability when you're originating keys. Not being an expert in it, I would say that originate the key on this first and then duplicate it elsewhere, is what I would suggest that you do. So I think what everyone does with HPC code cards is they just think about what's in here. But I'll tell you, the rest of everything that's on here is just worth its weight in gold, all of this other information. And let's go over it now. Up over here is literally the depth and spacing chart that you would find from HPC, and I'm going to show you those in this video as well. So if you look at let's just look at the 4 cut. The 4 cut is 0.275. Okay, 0.275 is the 4 cut. Now, you know that we're dealing with Schlage, and you know that a 9 is deeper than a 4, but what's strange is that depth is less. It's 0.2. Rather than being 0.275, it's less because they're measuring the root depth. They're measuring the bottom of the blade to the bottom of the cut. So a 9 would be a smaller number. So they're not giving us the length of the pin here. Be mindful. It's the root depth. That is what's on a depth and spacing chart. Then they're giving us spacing. The first space from the shoulder to the center is 0.231. The second space is 0.387. And that's all literally put right down in here. Okay, so when you move that from 1 to 2, you're literally moving it the spacing of 0.156, which is the increment. So 387 minus 0.156 is 0.231. 0.855 minus 156 is 0.699, and that's where you see that come up. Why is the depth and spacing chart important? It ain't when you have this card, but it's really awfully nice to have that data available. They've got extra room on the card. Why not fill it with important information? It tells you for your Blitz machine, use the A jaw. Okay, that's super important. Tells you to use the CW-14MC cutter. That's super important, that you're using the right jaw and the right cutter. It's also going to give you a pictogram of what that's all going to look like in terms of your depth and spacing. Down here, your depth and spacing chart is an 060, and I'll show you that. The max on Schlage, on this Schlage, is 7. I think it's 7 on everything Schlage. Maybe not everything. It may not be for that SL cylinder. I don't have experience repinning that SL cylinder. That's a driverless cylinder that has a sidebar. There may not be a max on that system. Although there may be. I obviously don't know. But anyway, enough to question it. So as we move through, it's a progression step. It's a two-step system. So the Schlage is a two-step system. That's important to know what you're dealing with in the sense of just simply knowing what you're dealing with. You don't have to know Schlage is a two-step system to use this code card. Blanks, right below it, blanks should have proper back milled radius. And that means at the very end of the key blank in here, you have to have the proper back milling. That's important to make sure that the key blank you're using is physically going to fit into the cylinder. The key blank you're using should have a properly back milled, profile to the end of the key blank. Up here under the cutter, direct digit codes read bow to tip. So direct digit, it's a direct code, meaning when you look at the key blank, if it says it's a 56217, that's the actual cut on the key. Read bow to tip. Schlage is literally the first cut is nearest the bow, the last cut is at the tip of the key. These are the blanks that it can work with. The H, J, K, and L are multi and all section blanks. The C, C, E, 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 F, 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 G, and G, those are just standard keyway blanks. Gives you the part number of the key that you could use, like from Kaba Ilko. And we've covered everything. This happens to be a C45 card. So up here, they give you all that great additional information, and they do that for all their systems. It's a handy way to be able to say, oh, what cutter am I using? I've got to cut some Schlage keys. What cutter needs to be in the machine? It's right here. So there you go. Let's switch to the screen view where I can show you where those depth and spacing charts are. So this is the item that we're looking at, and the link to the manufacturer's page is here. And we have the depth and spacing charts on our site. So we'll go by number, and if you remember, this Schlage card said 060, or by manufacturer. We'll just do it by number. We'll pull that up. Now this is all of the depth and spacing charts current, 201 pages worth, and if we do a find function on our keyboard for 060, we're going to find lots of matches to that because it's obviously close to a dimension. Depth and spacing chart 060, DSD 060, Everest 29, Schlage standard non-IC. Yeah, I mean this is what we're dealing with. This Schlage standard non-IC. That's what we've got here. It's a C45 card. That's how we know. They have a DSD of 3060. I'm not sure why it's 060 on the card. I will have to leave that as an intellectual curiosity. Maybe they all start with a 3. So 3060 is what we're going to find here. The point of showing you this is that, let's say you needed to do some Corbin Russwin System 70. Okay? You'd be able to find System 70 references, or at least Corbin. Let's just try Corbin. So you'll get Corbin material in here. Corbin Z-Class pre-System 70 IC, etc. There's going to be a tremendous amount of depth and spacing charts. Emhart High Security. That is a unique system of interlocking pins on a high security cylinder. It is awfully difficult to find any of that material. It's been long discontinued, and I think it's because they lost a lawsuit, possibly to Medico, because those pins rotate as well. They have a skew. The cuts have a skew to them. And those pins not only interlock, but they rotate as well. And I think it's because of that that they were forced to discontinue the material. I don't think they'll even produce key blanks anymore. I think they'll sell the pins. So if you have an installed system of Emhart High Security, At least you can buy pins, but you'll be reusing your cylinders and all your keys. So there you go. So very handy to have that. You can also find it on their website, their depth and spacing chart. That's going to be under their key machines, depth and space data list, DSD, depth and space data list. And then they have it listed here, you know, DSD by number by manufacturer. So these are the documents right here. So a handy link to their website. Else on this page will be all the HPC products we sell, along with the link to the full product catalog. If you know the name HPC, you probably certainly do for the Blitz machine, and that's probably why you're buying this card, because that's what you need. And HPC is certainly quite synonymous with the originator machine, their Blitz machine. They also have a Tiger Shark, which is a computer-driven version of this. It'll do engraving, other specialty. I think they have a new version of it called the Tiger Shark 2. This Code Max, you do bump into those every once in a while. And then, of course, the original Blitz machine. A very capable machine. You know, like all things locksmithing tool related, you seem to need... There seems to be many tools to do the job, but there's always one tool that does it best. And the Blitz machine is like that one tool that does it the best. If you want to originate, you know, if you're doing a Corbin Z-Class pre-System 70 and you want to originate a key, you can with this machine. If you've got the jaw, the cutter, and the card, and the blank, you can originate that key. And you're going to bump into that stuff, obviously. You won't be able to do that on many other machines because you just don't have the, you know, the machine's not capable of it. Switch Blitz machine, accessories for all that material. Their punch machine, that will also be, that card is also listed in the depth and spacing. So to do that Schlage full-size material, if you had the punch machine, you'd use the PCH14 card. That's also on there. You get through the catalog, and there's lots of key machines in here, and locksmithing tools you'll find in here. Pick sets, accessory hardware, security hardware, you know, collars to reinforce cylinders, mortise cylinders on aluminum, storefront doors, latch protectors are in here as well. And they're a decent company. You send them an email with a technical question, and they always respond. There's certainly no doubt about that at all. They will respond. These are picks for tubular locks. Okay, we do sell them occasionally. There are people who will buy these. The TLP C-Mod B, I've sold that a number of times. A fairly easy machine to understand how it works. Of course, picking locks requires more than a technical understanding of it. A technical understanding is really important, but developing the sense of touch is what I'm told is the way to learn that. The cylinder eater, this is basically a fixture that you can take a modified key blank, insert that into the broaching of the cylinder, and it will automatically place that drill bit for you in the right location to drill out whatever you're drilling. Obviously, we're dealing with an interchangeable core. They're going to drill the control lug here. That's obviously a sidebar. Medico, that's clearly going to be a sidebar. Shear line right at the Sargent. ASA has got that sidebar on the opposite side. Corbin's got that shear line right there. So that places that there for you in the right location. Awfully handy if you have to drill that material out. It makes locating that hole something that you don't have to think about. And that seems to be what HPC does very well, eliminating out of the conversation the thinking part. Here's the tool, we've done the thinking, it's all set up, go for it. They do a good job with that. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Okay, in conclusion, nice quality material. We've talked about how this works, and all of the code cards are basically governed the same way. Lots of information up there. Some of it you have to know. Some of it you will never look at and could spend years using your machine and never even look in that upper left-hand corner. But if you were to cut a key and pull your caliper out, and you wanted to check the accuracy of what you just cut, That depth and space, that depth chart is there, and it's giving you the root depth as well. Because with your caliper, you can't measure the top of the blade to the bottom of your cut like you can the bottom of the blade to the bottom of the cut. So having a caliper, in my opinion, they should increase the cost of the Blitz machine a little bit and include a high-quality caliper with every one of those. Any questions on the C45 HPC code card or any other HPC product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.